nobody else is willing to, right? You know who had to step up? My wife. I'm Rich.
And I'm Josh.
Make sure your Walkman is at full battery because we're diving into our dad tapes.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for listening to tape number 26 of the Dad Tapes. Let's get rolling. What are we drinking tonight?
Tonight, man, you got us another Oktoberfest from another brewery that we've had before. Shout out to the Bone Saw Brewing Company from Glassboro, New Jersey. Tonight we got Bonetoberfest. Quite the name, honestly. I love the play on the words.
Yeah, right.
I love how they, it's pretty freaking unique. It's a 5.9% ABV, and it's a golden lager, or it's an Oktoberfest Weizen. You ready to crack it?
Yeah. Ooh.
It's got a hint of fall in there.
Yeah, that's good.
This is a good beer to go trick-or-treating with the kids. And a dog in one hand, you know?
Yeah.
Winston trying to steal the candy, and drinking a beer, and just like, you know what? Steal some candy, guy. I don't care. Kids just running around screaming, stealing candy from other kids' baskets and each other's baskets.
Your kids do that? That's fucked up, man. That ain't cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did. It happens, you know. Kids will be kids. But that aside, you know, Halloween's coming up, you know, so I'm sure I got some more stories coming for you. How's your week been, though, bro?
It was
like a fucking roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm good. You know, better. Long, hot week for one.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we in that heat wave. We're talking 90s, feeling before the heat index, hundreds.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Peaked at like 104 yesterday.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, ridiculous, man.
My dad was telling me this morning, somebody who knows in Texas said that they've had 50 straight days of three-digit temperatures. Yeah.
That's global warming. It's a real thing, man. Shit. Oh, man. What else is new? Anything good? Anything going on? What you got going on for Addie this weekend?
I got a friend of mine, and we're gonna get the kids together.
Okay.
This weekend, let the kids play, have some fun. They're kind of like, I guess you could say real close friends. I don't want to say best friends because they haven't really hung out that much, but you know, they're very friendly with each other. So you know, they have fun, good time. And Sundays are going to be our hangout day as usual. Just hang out at home, chill, relax. It's supposed to be hot this weekend, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not supposed to be that hot. Like tomorrow's going to be
not as hot as it was this week.
Yeah. Tomorrow's going to be high upper 80s, maybe touching 90. But this weekend is going to drop down from that point. It's still going to be 80s. Still going to be toasty for September.
Yeah, I know. So.
But here we are, man, in 2023.
Yeah, and fucking sadly back on the market again.
Back on the market. So, you ladies, let's slow down this time, buddy.
No ladies.
Slow down, all right?
Ladies, I'm good for a while.
Oh, wait, no. Wait, you dabbling now, bro?
I fucking mean.
Okay, all right.
I need to take time for myself, bro. I need to do my own thing for a little while.
You and, Molly Palmer got to take some time together.
You mean Pamela Henderson? I mean...
Yeah, her too.
Or Jill?
Ho, ho, ho. Use my wife's name. That's so funny. Anyway, son of a bitch. Yeah, well, you take some time for yourself, bro. Focus on yourself. You know, you don't need to get into anything too soon, bro. You don't leave the Florida girls alone.
Especially with it about to be hunting season, bro. What about you, man? How was your week?
Dex had his first day of school.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you about that.
Yeah, man. It was I'm not going to lie, man. It was emotional.
Yeah.
But the most emotional point of that day was the morning and sending him off. What really, I got emotional. I'm not going to lie. shed a tear.
Yeah.
But what really, pulled that tear or tears out was when Bridget was she seemed as if she was grieving a loss of somebody.
Oof.
Because this is the first time she's actually ever spent time away from him for extended amount of hours, besides just like I don't know, going out for doing things or something like that.
Yeah.
Or she saw him leave, and then that was that.
Yeah.
And she cried. We took her out to breakfast, just trying to make her happy,
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, it hurts so bad to see her that way. It broke my fucking heart, man.
God damn.
Like, I don't want to ever see her that way ever again. So the boy who breaks her heart, I'm gonna fucking break you. But
you gotta do those whole things what everybody's talking about on Facebook now. I'm gonna cook my daughter the best steak so your son can't impress her with his well done cooked burnt steak.
God, man.
Oh shit, that's right. I forgot we talked about that.
You better give credit where credit is due. Shout out to you, Joe.
Yeah, shout out to Joe.
Yeah. You out here stealing his light, his thunder, man. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that.
Oops.
You already bowed out of the league, bro. Speaking of, we got a fantasy league going with the Batty Daddies. We kind of got a little podcast rivalry. Josh was supposed to be in it. He's going to man up. Yeah, has he ever done it before? No. What does a man do? Steps up to the plate when nobody else is willing to, right? You know who had to step up? My wife. So now it's me and my wife, Jill, running your team. Me running my team. And we're going to represent the dad tapes. And, hey, you know what? We got a good punishment planned up. We got to scheme up something for when they... You can't scheme up because you ain't playing. No, but we gotta put something on the line there. Some type of little silly punishment. I'm pretty sure it's time for us to be aware, at least according to my clock. Am I wrong on that one?
No, you're right.
Okay. All right. So then what do we got for it set up tonight, bro?
Tonight, a reading from the Daily Dad by Ryan Holiday is January 6th. Hang their pictures on your wall. He could not have known what the future would hold. He could not have known how he and his country would soon be tested. But in 2019, Vladimir Zelensky gave a 20-minute presidential inaugural address to the people of Ukraine that foreshadowed how he would respond. Despite being one of his country's greatest success stories, making a fortune in the entertainment business and then holding its highest office, Zelensky asked not to be celebrated or held up as a model. Zelensky says, "I really do not want my pictures in your offices, for the president is not an icon, an idol, or a portrait," he said. "Hang your kids' photos instead, and look at them each time you are making a decision." Then in February 2022, in an act of brutal illegality and avarice, Russia invaded Ukraine. Zelensky stood and fought, refusing opportunities to be rescued. What could be motivating him? His own advice? He has 2 children, ages 18 and 10, whom he fights for. The Ukrainian military and its citizen soldiers were similarly motivated, fighting valiantly alongside him against incredible odds for the chance that their children might live in freedom and live proudly, knowing that when it counted, their parents were prepared to sacrifice everything on their behalf. Each of us should be inspired and humbled by this example, but as Zelensky said, we don't need to put pictures of heroes on our wall. Instead, we can hang up pictures of our children and strive to make them proud, and this should inspire and fortify us when we have to make tough decisions for their future, for their safety, and for their freedom. It is our kids who compel us to do the right thing, because they are always watching.
That's deep.
Very.
It makes you realize that as much as you are your kids' heroes, they are what inspire you to be their hero.
Exactly.
And to do those incredible feats, that's and then to just wholeheartedly have your kids be the reason. That's dadding at its best, man.
Deep.
what is micromastery and how does it help you as a dad? Though the word isn't actually properly defined and isn't a defined word, there are a few pieces of work on the subject of micromastery and the art of it. Tonight we will jump into the term, what it means, how it affects us as dads, and how we can just become better men overall trying to master this technique of micromastery.
It's time for our data dump. There is an author by the name of Robert Twigger who wrote a book that is worth reading called Micromastery. Learn small, learn fast, and achieve anything. The book touches base on an idea of what the author calls micromastery, which he defines as the practice of developing expertise and learning many small skills instead of aiming to become an expert in one area. The idea of micromastery comes from the term polymathy, which roots go to ancient Greece and translates to one who knows many things. It's safe to say that even the Greeks had a term for a jack of all trades and a master of none. In an age of generational shifts and movement to get back to the ability to self-sustain and self-maintain, millennials find themselves to be the most lacking in the experience and skill department. However, lacking in those areas where millennials do make up that gap is the ethos of doing it yourself. Referencing an article from 2018, the millennial generation surveyed had 85% of those surveyed willing to take a home project or a partner taking a home project. That beats every other generation, boomers, Gen X, Gen Z, and millennials. And that was our data dump.
You know, the craziest thing to me is that the lack of that knowledge hasn't broadly been passed down to, our generation and the generation after us.
Yeah.
And some of the stats I was reading when it came to Gen Z, dude, some of them don't even know what a Phillips head screwdriver is. And that's crazy to think. That's really crazy to think. And it's not their fault.
Yeah.
I mean, to an extent, they can be blamed, but they're not the only ones who can be blamed.
Yeah.
And I think you have a very differing background and way that you were raised compared to almost a lot of people in just our generation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
My dad absolutely, my dad was an electrician. My dad worked with contractors, doing construction for years. He was a fisherman. So, I mean, I've learned a lot from him through my years, and I was gifted that. And he's the one who taught me how to change the oil, change tire. Like, he's taught me that stuff. Yeah. But I've had a plethora of friends in my life who, dude, couldn't even change an oil.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so in your perspective, with you having this, I guess you could say this wealth of knowledge, you've been gifted that wealth of knowledge. It has been properly passed down to you.
Yeah.
How do you feel compared to others in our generation? And when you're approaching a situation to where it's like you could step up to help somebody, how do you handle that?
Not gonna lie, I try to help take the reins a little bit.
Yep.
But at the same time, if I'm trying to show something to someone that doesn't know what they're doing or how to do something, I'm not just gonna go and do it for them.
Yeah.
I may do it once if it's something that needs to be repeated multiple times, but I'll show them once. Hopefully they'll understand, and they can try it for themselves. If they need help, I'll help them out.
Yeah.
Or I'll keep showing them if I have to. But I kind of feel like just because I have this ability to do all these a plethora of different things,
yeah,
I feel like I kind of have a responsibility to help people out.
Dude, just like even okay, when I had to bring you that part from AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, it was Advanced.
Yeah.
AutoZone, I'm not a big fan of. Just never happened. But when I bought you that, I can't even remember what it was that you needed. It was a part for my antifreeze system for my car. I consider myself handy, but I know you clearly are a lot handier than I.
Yeah.
You were on the side of the road, bro.
Yeah.
Fixing that thing.
Yeah.
Getting your hands dirty. Yeah, you just got done work. Yeah, it was a long ass day. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have broke down if you didn't buy $3,000 clankers every 6 months, you know? But at the end of the day, but ultimately there you found yourself and you were able to get yourself out of that situation.
Yeah.
Because you knew what you were doing. And even if you didn't, you at least had the gusto to say, you know what, I kind of know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to go at it. Yep. What am I going to do? Break something that's already broken?
Exactly.
So, mad respect, because most people, like, I'm not going to know what to do.
Yeah.
My first call would be you.
Yeah.
And you have to walk me through it. Or if you ain't going to answer because you're too busy playing Xbox, or, you know, I'm going to have to, you know, call a tow truck or something. I'm like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So it's like having that knowledge can save you time. You're not saving yourself energy because you're putting that out, but that's equity. That's sweat equity, and that's things that you're gaining through experience, man. Like, just even for you with hunting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can be so self-sustained in your life and maintain your life as is.
Yeah. For instance, I mean, like, when you guys bought the house, you know, and I came over to do the cabinets and all that shit. And, I forget, there was something, I don't exactly remember what it was. It was the fridge. Yeah. When you guys had that separate water line that was coming off the fridge, and it came down here in the bottom. And you said, I don't know if that's what it is. And it was like, it's a tap and T handle. It goes right into the copper pipe. You know? I would just I like to be that guy that can go and show people different shit. I mean, I might not. Listen, I don't know everything. And
it makes you feel good.
Yeah. Kind of. Because sometimes it's like, yeah, sorry, I can't help you with that one because I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Did you feel like you felt some type of way when you called me and asked me for like help with the kitchen and tearing the floors out?
Nah, bro.
That shit?
No, because I'm
because a lot of people would take it the wrong way.
They absolutely would, but the thing is, like, it's not like I called you to ask you to because I didn't know what I was doing, because I did.
Yeah,
but we had a lot of freaking floors to rip up, man. So I called you for an extra hand, you know, and you know, fortunately, you were willing to take the cabinets, because if you weren't gonna, I'd have to rip them out myself. Yeah. So you and Zach took them out. You know, it didn't make me feel some type of way, just because, again, the reason for it was I knew everything that needed to be done and how to do it. You know, dude, look at even what we ran into when we were doing the bathroom on the first floor.
Oh. God.
You didn't even want to deal with that.
Fuck no, dude.
I mean, not only did it have three different floorings down there, it had that linoleum, that vinyl, and then that linoleum again.
It had a fucking layer of piss for each fucking layer, bro.
It was disgusting, man. And you know, I put a mask on and just went for it, dude. I had to.
I could still fucking smell it.
I still sometimes think I get the scent of pee, like a little hue of pee in my garage for how long it's sat in there for.
Ugh.
That was disgusting, man.
Oh God.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end, it comes down to, in my case at least, the T-tap. I didn't know what that was. That's what I thought it was, but I was like, I don't know, because it looked like it was a refrigerator line. But I was like, I've never actually seen a T-tap before.
Yeah.
And I know that's one of the cheaper ways to do it. I do know that.
I mean, it works.
It works. But it's not the best way to do it. No, it's not the best way to do it. So if you're listening and you're considering about putting in a fridge water line, don't use a T-tap, please. But just like this house in itself, man, and fortunately I'm a bit handy. Like, you know, there's a lot of things that I've done here that I don't think a lot of people would have taken on.
Yeah.
And they're fixing like the gas line for the fireplace. I mean, I don't like messing with gas, but you got to do what you got to do.
Dude, I worked with gas and I still don't like messing with it.
I know. You got to do what you got to do. You know, there's the lighting, the electric, the hot water heater.
Yeah.
But even like I knew what was wrong with the HVAC system. I don't mess with HVAC systems. That's just not my thing.
I don't either.
You know? But I knew what was wrong with it. I knew the condenser motor was shot.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it just comes down to just having that knowledge, and I don't think a lot of our generation has that.
Well, it's not just the knowledge either. It's all trial and error as well. You know?
You're right.
Because I can honestly say there's been countless of times where I've been in a situation and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was still willing to do it and try, and I fucked something up, which thankfully I have friends that are, that know what they're doing with whatever it was, and they can say, oh, hey, you should have did it this way. I'm like,
the best way to learn is to do things wrong the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sense of accomplishment when it comes to stuff like that.
When you're doing it DIY, it does. You feel, you get high off of accomplishment. Mm-hmm. You feel the way that you should feel, quite honestly. Like, I don't like spending money to pay people to do things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do we pay termite people or a pest company to come and spray for bugs? Absolutely. Just because I don't want to deal with it.
Well,
and I don't want to deal with Bridget too, but Jill screaming.
It's not just that either. I mean, stuff like, listen, I mean, there are certain things.
Changing a thermostat for a heater. If you can't do that,
there's certain things that you shouldn't do.
100%.
For instance, termite people, or pest people. Yeah, you're dealing with chemicals there. You know what I mean?
Well, not only that, we also had termites. So, I want to have a professional treat that, so they're held responsible. What am I going to sue myself? Oh, yeah, let me take myself to court. That'll end up great. God, good grief. No, you're absolutely right in certain aspects, which is why with all the issues we've had with this house, every time, even just changing a sub pump, dude, like it's not that hard to put a sub pump in at all. No. You just literally mount it off and you disconnect the PVC, because that's what the hood's hooked up with, and remount the PVC to the new motor, and you're good to go. Plug it in. Boom.
Yep.
But when it comes down to it, I don't want that liability. I don't want that liability. And it was kind of a bit traumatizing to walk down here with 3 to 4 inches of water all over our basement floor. So after 3 days of closing.
Well, one thing I want to bring up to you too is, like, I know we were talking about sense of accomplishment and stuff. Mm-hmm. For instance, with me, like, with the situation I'm in and having, my situation's getting better, obviously, with my anxiety and at home situations.
Your personal situation.
My personal situations. Certain things, like, for instance, this past weekend on, it was like Sunday or Monday. It was Monday on the holiday. I took the day to myself, Mm-hmm. I stayed at home. I was by myself all day. It was nice, I was quiet. I got some stuff done around the house.
Yeah.
I had an outlet in my room that didn't work. And for some reason, I don't know why, but it was hooked up to wires and it wasn't getting voltage. No idea why. Mm-hmm. I tried tracing it, couldn't find out where it went, and I kind of just got to the point where I'm like, all right, you know what, fuck it. I need this outlet, so I have to come up with some other way to make sure this outlet works.
Was it working previously?
It wasn't working at all.
Okay.
Previously. So even after putting a new outlet in, everything, just doing all the troubleshooting and everything, so I decided to just jump the outlet off the light switch that's right there. Because I have this, like, it's a little, like, I guess you could kind of say like a vanity area. It's got a counter with a kitchen, or not with a kitchen, with a sink.
Yeah.
And a mirror and all that. So basically it's kind of like a vanity for a woman doing her makeup and stuff like that, but it has a sink. So I just kind of said, fuck it. And I shut the breaker off, and I just got myself a short piece of wire, and I just jumped it from the light switch over to the outlet. So I had a working
Is it up to
outlet.
code?
It's up to code.
Is it up to code?
It's up to code. But
don't let my dad in your house.
Yeah, no. And now it works. It's just small. It's small shit like that you keep your mind at ease because you're focused on something and you're getting something done. You're being productive. You feel better about yourself because you're being productive.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of things done that day.
Well, to interrupt you, you kind of just said it there. The one thing that you didn't read the book. I know you didn't, because I don't think you ever heard of the book before that, right? Before this.
What?
The Micromastery.
No, I have not.
He kind of drives home the point that a lot of the importance of the Micromastery is not just to keep yourself busy or to gain the knowledge and the experience, but what it does is it just prolongs your mental capacity to pick things up.
Yeah.
Where if we just continue to just be drones, we're going to be dumbing ourselves down throughout life. And by the time we are, older and ready to go, we're basically infantiled.
Yeah.
And doing these micromasteries, it's great to get that experience and to do things to yourself. Like, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
To be able to sit there and say you can self-sustain to do it. Many people can't say that at all.
No.
But the actual act of doing it keeps your mental sharp.
Yeah.
And that's what's important if you don't want to, yes, dementia and Alzheimer's, they are clearly inherited and we don't know why. I haven't seen anything that states otherwise.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's just to keep your longevity ticking.
Yeah.
And, I think that, I hope that I am, but I think you're going to be one of those guys that lives to be about 100 years for old, bro.
God.
All the crap that all the worthless information that may never even suit you for anything else in the rest of your life.
Yeah, tell me.
I mean, shit, all the stuff you know about cars, if we all go electric, you done for, bro. You done for.
Now, I'm going to kind of I kind of have a little short story.
Okay.
I was actually talking to my dad about, the topic that we were going to do tonight this morning, and he kind of gave me a little tidbit story of something that he kind of went through with his old boss. He was over his old boss's house, the CFO of the company. He's over at his house. He helping him with his deck.
Okay.
And mind you, this guy has a PhD. He's a smart motherfucker. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, presumably.
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 So, my dad was under the deck doing something, and he had said to the guy, hey, can you hand me the crowbar?
Oh, my God.
And he didn't know what a crowbar was.
Oh, my God.
Let alone didn't know how to use a hammer.
I can't say anything.
None of that.
No.
What would this guy do?
You really learn as you get older. People, it doesn't matter their degrees, their certifications. They don't know how to live on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
It's like we've come so far removed from the everyday living and the important things of living. I mean, God forbid, we live in a state where we don't have to pump our own gas.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact people don't know how to pump their own gas in this state if it came down to it.
Yep. Listen, I'm not going to fucking lie. When I moved out of state, because I never had to,
You was one of them? You was one of them.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between pumping your own gas at a gas station and then having, access to, with where I worked and having a tank that had a pump on it,
Yeah.
That's completely different. But... knowing the aspect of how to pump the gas, yeah. But when you get to that gas station and you're like, okay, what the fuck do I do now? And I moved out of state and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I got to pump my own gas.
Yeah. And it's the small things like that really you're not aware of that you inherit or don't inherit. There's clearly a majority of people, from my experience, that don't inherit that. Despite what the data dump says, a lot of the people I've run into in my life, they can't change a tire. They don't know how to change a tire. Whether, whatever their situation was growing up, they just don't know how to.
Well, it's for instance with me. I mean, look at you. You're technically our tech guy.
Yeah.
You know everything that you're doing with that shit.
Yeah.
Me? No fucking clue.
Yeah.
None.
No, you sit here and you the guy in the basement in the Goonies. Hey, you guys! You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Jill opens the door and here I come tech savvy up out there with the laptops. I'm editing stuff and you're just sitting in the corner with one eye, It's Popeye. Yeah. But no, I get it. It's the small things like that. But as fathers, the most important part, in my opinion, of having this knowledge It's not book smarts. We're not talking about book smarts. That's a thing. It's an entirely different thing in itself. And it's just having that knowledge to pass down to your children. Yeah. That's the important part. Yeah. You don't want to leave them. So like I started to say, some of the stats that I was reading with the Gen Zers, it's scary. Yeah. It really is scary. And I've always hated the stigmatization of generational lack of knowledge. Yeah. If that's a term. But just from some of the surveys, and I've read different articles because I was very interested to it once I saw this one article saying like Gen Zers can't even identify a Phillips head screwdriver, and I'm not for nothing, 65% of millennials, I believe that was a stat. Don't quote me to it, but 65% of millennials can't even identify what a Phillips head screwdriver is.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but it just goes to show that there's just, whether it's like people being or dads specifically, because I hate to stereotype or be very gender orientated in this, but most of the time that information is done by and passed down from dads. Yeah. And no matter any child situation being raised in, that's typically where that information comes from. And it's just clearly there's a gap somewhere, whether it's from the age of technology, whether it's just the lack of the time because work, whatever it is, it's our responsibility to instill that into our children.
Yeah, it's like with me, bro. Like when Addie gets to the certain age, I'm going to show her how to change brakes. I'm going to show her how to change a tire. Yeah. Show her how to do her own oil change. Yeah. Like I don't want her to have to be... I want her to be able to sustain herself. Yeah. I don't want her to have to rely on anyone. You don't want her to have to rely on some dusty-ass boy. That's
what it goes down to. Buying a dollar menu.
Well, no, but look at it this way. For instance, just hypothetical. She goes to, I want to say, college out in like fucking Washington State or Oregon or something. And she doesn't have anybody to do any of this shit for her. Yep. Instead of her having to go to a damn Jiffy Lube to get an oil change. Yeah. Do it right in the fucking parking lot.
Yeah. So that brings us to a resolution. No matter what you do as your profession, career, current job, the more you try to invest in yourself into learning, it's going to equate to the more you're able to pass down that knowledge to your children. And that's what really matters as fathers. And as fathers, we're expected to be able to fix things. We're expected to be able to maintain a home. I can guarantee you, Jill, he's going to have a punch list for me up soon. Home maintenance stuff. I already know. Installing shelves. Doing things like that. Despite the fact that the majority of the younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, and this, I believe it's the Alpha Gen, and they're just little kids, Dex and Addie. That information has just not been passed down properly in the chain of, doing it yourself. So kind of readjust, and when you come across that knowledge for yourself, just focus and make sure you educate yourself and your children on that, because it's important to have them be able to maintain. I mean, you want them to exist, right? Yeah, you don't want to have them depend on. Maybe you do, whatever. Yeah. But I know I don't want that for my kids.
No, you got to pass it on, man. Pass on the knowledge.
Exactly. And if, because God forbid, if they ever don't know how to change a tire and they get stuck on the side of the road on, the Pine Barrens, the Jersey Devil right there, you pretty much found yourself in a situation, bro. So what do you got for us tonight?
Tonight's just going to be a bunch of random spicy. First one's going to be, it's by Disgustingly Frustrated, back from 2013 in Argentina. It says, today I was talking dirty to my long-distance lover while touching myself when a cockroach fell from my ceiling and landed on the hand I was molesting myself with.
Oh, God.
This one's by Law in Canada in 2011. It says, today my date asked if I could drive his friend home before we went out for breakfast. His friend had blonde hair, big boobs, and wore a skimpy black dress. He wasn't 100% sure of her name. I guess I drove home my date's one-night stand last night.
Drive my friend. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like they had a good time. What's the last one you got here, man? These have been stinky.
Where on earth do you work? By embarrassed ass in 2015, United States. Today, while on a walk during lunch, I urgently needed to pee. Not thinking I could make it back to the office, I slipped into some bushes to relieve myself. As I was going, I looked to the side and saw 2 coworkers staring back at me. They were having sex, and I'm there with my dick out. Awkward.
Wow.
Woo.
Did they offer an invitation?
I'm going to guess not.
Well, maybe you guys can find that one on the internet somewhere, but not on our stuff, which you can find us at facebook.com/the Dad Tapes. You can find us on Instagram at the Dad Tapes Podcast. You can find us on the X, previously known as Twitter, at the Dad Tapes. And you can find us on TikTok, Dad Tapes Podcast. But please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a review, share. It truly helps the show. And you know where the best platform to rate us on is Apple Podcasts.
Don't forget to rewind the tape before boxing it back up, guys. Don't be that guy.
That was very anticlimactic, but what's not anticlimactic is this football game I'm about to go watch. So I'm peacing out. I got a football season started. I got some league games on the line. I'm in 3 leagues right now. You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna win us the podcast wars here. All right, so you do your own thing, go home, snuggle up in your warm, cozy bed, do your little thing, you know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be winning us.
Back of my eyelids.
I'm the gladiator. All right, I got us this week, bro. I got us every week. All right, don't you worry. Week 1 through week 17, fantasy league that is. I got us, and it's gonna be week 17 because I'm gonna be playing for the first place. Good luck, Danny. I'm hunting, bro. Peace, guys.
See you guys later.